All right, well, welcome all. And yes, make sure the Twitch volume is down or wherever you're playing it back. If it's a browser tab, you mute it. But yeah, I think my it's time to upgrade my computer. Just to say, system resources are pretty bad with that particular intro. But that particular video has like a ton of animation, so I find that with that style, it should be better with other sources. But anyway, how's everyone doing tonight? Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? I think earlier my volume was pretty low.
Yeah, it's better now.
Sounds good to me.
So, yeah, we'll just wait a few minutes for a few other people to join. But thanks again for, sending in the music and joining once again. And we have so as of last month, we sort of tried a new format where we're broadcasting the Zoom part of our meetup to the Twitch feed. So this is kind of something that we're going to continue doing and tweaking. So thank you all for your patience as well. Because sometimes we had some technical glitches and we're kind of working through some of the stuff. But I'm pretty confident we'll have some pretty good sound quality tonight. And I think, like I mentioned in at least a Facebook post, that two of you guys submitted videos of live hardware jams. So I'm looking forward to listening and seeing those. Really cool stuff. Paul was one of them, and Thomas, he hasn't joined yet. Oh, actually, there's a bunch of people in the waiting room. Boy, okay. There we go. Hello, everyone.
Hey Spy, how's it going, man?
Hey,
Hello.
doing well.
Hey Spy, how's it going, man?
Hey,
Good
doing.
here.
Yeah, it
How's
just
it going, man?
the thing about
Hey,
the
Good here.
echo. Make sure if you have Twitch
Yeah,
running,
it
How's
just
it going,
put
man?
it on mute or turn the volume down. You're gonna get that weird psychedelic loop going otherwise, which I have to admit, it is a pretty cool effect. I mean,
acid flashback, man.
as Tiny Bites was saying, there's no degradation with that particular feedback loop. Like it loops perfectly with perfect audio, actually. So it's a cool effect if that's what you're after. But yeah, thanks once again for joining. I started to say earlier that we've been running for I think I see at least one new person here. Delphine, welcome. We've been running, for 7 years, I think, possibly longer, but at least 7 years. And so we started off in person, downtown Toronto before COVID. And then since the COVID stuff, we kind of went online. And ever since then, we've been basically online. And there's been a lot of members joining from outside our geographical region, people who moved during, you know, over the years. And so it's a format that has been working. And as of last month, we were also, for the first time, broadcasting this particular chat in Zoom to our Twitch channel, which in the past we never did that. And sometimes people who were not participating would go to our Twitch channel and just hear silence and not know what was going on, and then hear music and then silence. So they're able now to follow what we're saying here. And then also when we listen to music, we will be switching over to that Twitch feed. Okay, so I'll put it in the chat here just to remind us all. And so, and there's sometimes Twitch can benefit from a refresh in the browser if you're hearing weird anomalies. It's been a pretty good platform. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're counting on the infrastructure that Twitch has for its streaming, dependency on my internet. I've got gig fiber internet right now, which is pretty good. So yeah, we should be able to get everything going. And so with that said, I'm going to put the names in the random name selector and share my screen in Zoom here. I just want to make sure I got the right names. Fostel. Hey, Andrew, by the way, did you send a file in? Just gotta double check my email here real quick. Okay. Oh, you did. Okay, perfect. SoundCloud, you're a rebel, Andrew. Okay, so yeah, so what we do is put everyone's name who has submitted music into kind of like, spin the wheel kind of a deal. So I hit the button and whoever's name comes up, I'll go ahead and play back what you've submitted basically. You have a chance to introduce it if you like. Sometimes people like to set up what they've submitted. Sometimes people rather wait until after it's played. And then basically we open it up to the conversation here and we, provide feedback and whatnot. I think I've covered most of the bases. And the chat obviously in Zoom here. Just I'm trying out. Oh, okay, right. Yes, we're also streaming to YouTube. I didn't mention that when we first started as a backup. So basically, in case the Twitch, for whatever reason isn't cooperating, I am also, streaming to actually Twitter and YouTube. So that way there's options. That's the only reason we're doing it. It's not. It ends up being a little bit confusing, but the rationale is just in case Twitch has real big problems, we have other platforms to leverage. So that's the long story short with that. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I mean, most of the details are written in the event details. So, you know, and I was stating earlier, we have a couple of video submissions of live hardware gems. So looking forward to seeing and hearing those, as well as all the other great music from our regulars. And so yeah, without any further ado, I will share my screen and spin the wheel. Am I sharing the wrong screen? Or perhaps I don't have my browser open. Oh, there we go. Okay. I think I have all the names. That's the other thing. I always feel like I'm forgetting a name here. So if that's the case, just let me know. But so Andrew. So yeah, Andrew, we typically are doing one track and then we'll cycle through. And if there's time at the end, we go for a second track, So I think you sent two, but did you want to talk about? Oh, I can't hear you. Can't hear you, Andrew. No sound. And you're not muted. I mean, as far as I can tell, it doesn't look like you're muted, right? Do you want to type it in the chat, maybe, dude? Just let us know, what track you want to have played back. Okay, now you're muted, actually. That's the weird part. How about now?
How about
Try
now?
now. Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Play the second track, Textile.
Okay. Short but sweet. I can run
Yeah.
with that. All right. Yeah. So, this is a SoundCloud, so I'm hoping the sound is good. As I was trying to warn people, a combination of my computer being a little bit long in the tooth these days, a little bit short on the resources, uh, and just the browser within the Twitch, within the streaming, I mean, can cause degradation. But we're gonna hope for the best, and let's give it a shot. So I'm gonna put everyone on mute, but it's always good to make sure you're muted on Zoom. And again, we're gonna be listening on Twitch, right? So make sure you got the volume all ready to go with that. And without further ado, I will give it play.
or something. Just have that with a few elements, just almost like a major break in the middle.
Yeah, make sure that your Twitch volume is down. Sorry about that. Continue, Angel. Make sure that your Twitch volume is down. Sorry about that. It'll just start looping if you don't.
Yeah, someone's Twitch is on.
It'll just start looping.
Okay. So what I was saying. So
I
in
don't
the
know. I'm
middle,
trying to. I don't know if it's mine, but I turned mine down.
okay.
I think it's good. Or maybe it's
You just
Brian.
mute it in Twitch. You mute it.
Let's just all mute when we're not talking.
Yeah, that's another good idea.
Let's just all mute when we're not talking.
Yeah, that's another good idea.
Let's just all mute when we're not talking.
Yeah.
So
Goes on
status
forever.
quo. Okay. So I was saying, Andrew, I think it was really good. It's looping.
Okay. All right. Thanks
Do
very much.
you, Jill, do you have Twitch on a different browser open maybe on your computer? Oh, you're on mute though now.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
good actually. Yeah, it's a
Well,
bit tricky, but we'll get it.
it could have
It'll be
been
second nature. It'll be second nature. Yeah, no, I swear to you, Tiny Bites and I, hours were like, where's this feedback coming from? And it's
Yeah.
like we had it running in another tab, and I'm like, oh my! I was like googling like what are the symptoms, and I
Right.
was like, oh my god.
So
Anyhow,
back to Andrew. Andrew, yeah, I loved it. I was wondering if perhaps there could be like a 16 bars or so in the middle where you just drop everything except for just let it meander, because it's a great track. And I think the driving beat when it comes back after being really subdued, that could make a big impact. Just a thought.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, I really dug that bass too. That was great. And sort of echoing what Gilles said, I thought about maybe halfway, it could use a change or something. Might just be like an instrument add or a subtraction, but yeah, something a little bit different to break it up there, because that bass is great, and if you took it away from us and then brought it back, it would be even better.
Well, there's if I don't know if there's three distinct different bass lines in that song. Like it starts off. I mean, it's the same instrument, but there's three different bassline melodies throughout the whole song. So I tried to keep it interesting doing that, using the bass that way.
Well, just something to think about, I guess. Maybe once you listen to it with fresh ears or something,
Well, it's hard to when you're the creator of something to listen to it with fresh ears. You have to put it away for a couple months, maybe. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that long, but I know what works for me is that if I work on something else and then come back to
Keep
it.
in mind, we're just elitist producers, and our opinion doesn't matter, man. The regular listeners don't care.
true, it's true.
Okay.
But I'm just glad that the SoundCloud cooperated. It sounded like the playback was actually half decent.
Playback here was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, so but good job, Andrew. I felt like it the vast majority of the time I've been saying your stuff is very uplifting, like the mood of your track. So it's kind of like really chill and uplifting. And I've seen it work on the dance floor. I've seen people totally groove to your stuff, man. So
Cool.
kudos to you.
Thanks, Lenny. Yeah, it means a lot, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's the truth. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna go and spin the wheel for the next contestant here. Sorry for the bad humor. Oh, any other feedback?
Yeah. Do you guys hear me at all?
Yes.
Is that better now? Sorry, my gain was
Oh,
gone.
there you go.
Tiny Bites,
Yes.
good to hear, man. Tiny Bites.
Yeah, you too, Vasta. Andrew, yeah, love that. Good groove. The space on that hover, your kick was kind of lost in there a bit. I think you could pull it out a little more. Do you use Ableton, or which one are you using?
No, I'm using Reason.
Reason. Okay, I don't have enough Reason knowledge.
I used to use Reason. I like it. 7 years ago or something.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can.
It's a good program. Very
Yeah.
good.
Does their sidechain have an EQ on it where you can actually just set it to take anything under a certain frequency?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I could set something up. Yeah.
Yeah, so sidechain that over that hover base, mono the hover base under 200 cycles, and then just have it gently duck. Just bring the threshold up until it hits maybe 8, and just to bring it to carve that kick in a little bit more. It just needs that thump to mix with that bass a little nicer. It's just hidden back a little too much. But other than that, I love the track. I like Lenny said, man, I love your tracks.
Great. Thanks very much. Appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Okay, and again, if I have a name missing here, please let me know because I'm sometimes challenged. Fausto.
Hey, it's me. That's cool. Which one are you gonna play?
Well, I'll play whichever one you want me to play, but
I guess.
I think you made a track specifically for tonight, which I feel
Yeah. I made the track today.
honored to to play it.
I made the track today for your show. I hope people like it. It's very experimental. It's not the best mix because I only made it in one day. But I hope you guys can still have a good time with it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Yep. And thanks for letting me know that I was not muted. So please keep an eye out for that, and let's give it a listen.
Yeah, well, this shows me that I need to make a second layer because I had the sub bass to set the low harmony for the whole instrumentation that does like a special thing, and we couldn't hear it, but it's fine, I guess it just reminds me that I need to make a second bass layer that's audible to things that don't deliver the sub bass.
Right. Yeah. Streaming services, for example.
It's a shame they do that. It's a great track. Love the way that Bottom End carves. I think was it Paul was asking if that was some live tweaking on your part.
Yeah, if you ask any questions in the chat, just ask them to me again because I didn't read much. I only was able to answer what reverb is my go-to, and that's the Valhalla one. So what's the question again?
Oh, I think he was just asking about with the way you did the bottom end, were you adjusting the most likely I would say the cutoff and the envelope?
Yeah, it's a lot of envelope and cutoff automations to make very precise shapes in sound, and then but the side chain adds to that, and it makes it really cool. And
So
then
the automation, you did it by hand, or did you draw it in, or were you playing it and
there is a so there's an envelope that goes like wobbly wobbly wob, but then I don't activate it fully all the time. Sometimes it's just the beginning part of the note, so you don't hear the other wobbles. But when it's full, then you hear the other wobbles as well. So it creates more diversity in that sense. And then when you move the notes, like sometimes it's by itself, and sometimes the notes go up and down, like da 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 da, and that also creates a cool kind of cyberpunk sounding effect. And then with the pads, I use Valhalla shimmer reverb, which makes everything shimmer. And then I had some plucks on the top end, like a harpsichord thing, because the track is called Sky Crystals. So it's like flying through the sky and seeing multicolored radiant crystals. So that's what I want to simulate with the song, and then the whole the bass that wasn't like the first drop. It has a certain syncopation that is unnatural, and that's on purpose to make it a bit weird and transport it to a different dimension. For the texture itself, I inspired from a synth group called Survive, which are the guys who made the Stranger Things soundtrack. I like their synth textures. They're very personal and stuff. Yeah, so that's the track. Hope you guys
Great
liked it.
job.
And
I love the automation that you did. It was very effective.
yeah, I spent all day on it, like from like 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you got a lot of time to tweak with stuff. The hi-hats and stuff are very simple. Like I didn't do much with the percussion. The snare is very 80s, like better like a basketball hitting the floor.
Right.
And the kick is modern and with the sidechain and all. Like you guys know I don't have to explain anything, but thanks for listening, guys.
Well, I was also just gonna say. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I really love the music. I felt that there was a lot of energy. But before the first drop, I felt that maybe there was too much melodies, like on top of each other. And I think it would be nice if we just had like just one melody with all the pads before the break. It would be more intense.
Yeah, they also didn't make sense, that part, because of the missing sub bass harmonic. So that's why things are out of place. But the sub bass would have brought those things together because it really brings the important, like, growly, shaking ground type thing. I can send you after the show the song. Maybe you can analyze it again. But I know what you mean. You have to be consistent with the song ideas, and that's what happens in the first day of making something. You kind of brush all over the place, and then the next day you refine on what musical ideas you want them to be. But I just wanted to make a song for Spy Audio's show. I didn't have anything new,
And thank you,
so I
Paul.
just
That was
made the
great.
song.
And yeah, it's an honor, man. It's an honor to have a specially made track by Vostel for our show. So thank you again. And I was just gonna say the automation, like with the panning, with the lower frequencies. I mean, that's a nice
Yeah, you
nice
can
touch.
check it out on YouTube. I'll post the YouTube link for who wants to, because I uploaded it there too as well. So for who wants to hear like the sub bass, I'm gonna post it here in the chat.
Yeah, man, for sure. And make sure you subscribe to Vostel's channel and put whatever links in the chat, everyone, as well as we go, you know. But thank you
All right,
again.
man. Next person.
Yeah, yeah, all right. Okay. All right, Paul.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're on mute, Paul.
Right.
Or did
I
I
have to
say
press
Paul?
unmute
Brian.
twice.
My brain is. Did I? Who did I pick there, man? My brain is. But it is Paul. Okay, okay.
Okay,
That's
good.
weird. All right. I thought I was talking to Brian for a second. I was saying Paul, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I? But I go, all right, Paul. Oh yeah, yeah.
No worries.
You're set us up, man. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
so
to
I
it.
sent in a video. I really haven't finished a song in a while. Been spending a lot of time just kind of learning my equipment, and also picked up my bass guitar again. I've been playing that pretty consistently, trying to learn shapes and scales, and really I want to incorporate that into my music. So what I'm showing you is me just doing mutes and unmutes on my hardware setup with a single pattern, while also trying to figure out what the bass guitar parts are going to be. So there definitely needs to be some more work on the arrangement, like having a breakdown and some transitions, fills, etc. Love to hear kind of your opinion though on the overall sound. The main drums in it is a Behringer RD9 that I'm borrowing from a buddy of mine, and I wanted to have something recorded with it before I have to give it back. It's a very fun drum machine to use, but I would not buy it myself. In fact, I've already bought a Drum Brute Impact that I'm going to replace the 909 with when I finally finish this one.
Why wouldn't you buy it, Paul? Just
Um,
the quality, like the
It's
feel
more
of it.
just the interface itself and interacting with it. Like the buttons are squishy and not responsive. Saving is confusing. I don't know. It's like I've went through like 5 or 6 different brands of hardware sequencing approaches now in my hardware journey over the last couple of years, and I think the Behringer ones, like I also had that Behringer Crave that I was using as a mono sim, so that they're the worst. Um, and I would put like Arturia and Electron as the most intuitive and best so far from what I've used.
Okay, okay. Good
But
information, good honest reviews. Like no one's paid
yeah,
you to say it, unlike most
but
YouTube
what I
reviews,
do
right?
like about the RD9, and you'll see me do it, is that it has mute and unmute buttons for every part, just like a groove box. So it allows you to kind of use it as a live instrument in a way that you wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't typically expect someone to use a drum machine, but yeah, you'll check it out. Tell me what you think.
Right, yeah. So this is a video with your live hardware jam, I'm calling it, and
Yep,
let's check it out.
no name yet.
Okay, all right, untitled.
So it has that lovely fade out to let you know it's not done.
That was very good. I liked it very much.
Yeah, I really apologize about the video playback as well.
No worries. It's your first time trying it, right? So
Well, this computer is actually, it's like the CPU is just maxed out. So I lowered the video resolution as it was going, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna have to upgrade. There's really no display adapter to talk about on this thing, actually. So, but I'm glad the sound, and it did sound great. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. I know I was telling someone earlier, like sometimes with hardware jams, like you see the person doing the music and you're captivated by everything, the visuals and the sound.
Hmm.
But if you can actually hear that same piece of music without the video and it still carries, I feel like you really did the job because, I mean, it's not just for show, it's actually the music, it's good enough to stand on its own is what I mean to
I
say.
appreciate that. And one thing that took me a while too was to get the gain staging right, like in my hardware setup, because I have a mixer, a sub mixer running into a mixer into an SD card reader, and you need to get it to a certain level so you can quickly just. I ran Ozone 9 Master Assistant and then finished it. Like that's all I did in terms of mixing. But what I found is once you have your levels real high, like on the hardware side, then you just need minimal processing. Where I used to mix my music a lot lower and then raise it up in the DAW, and I find now I'm getting a better result, making sure it's as loud as it can be before I export it.
But still without clipping.
Yeah, exactly.
So just you get it close to 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Yeah.
Actually,
No,
watch the colors as long as it's not going red,
Right. Yeah. No, I really liked it. As you play with, I'm assuming you want to play around with it now and start to arrange it more and things like that.
Exactly. Like what I need to do is take those one pattern and make it into multiple patterns and program the mutes into a song mode so I can free up my hands to play the bass or mute or unmute the drum machine and do some like tweaks. But like when you have to do all the sequencing and muting and unmuting live, like I find that I just end up having a jam forever and I never finish a song. So that's the next step.
Yeah. Well, with what you got now, what would be interesting is, for instance, that repeating arc that you have to filter that, just play around with the filter slowly, making it move, change the sound over time. But I mean, it's endless what you can do because you've got such a great bass there, like not bass, but bass.
Yeah, BASE. Gotcha.
Good job. Loved it as always. I always love your stuff.
No, appreciate it. So yeah, we'll see. I might have a updated version for you in January. I'm gonna miss next month, but yeah, I'll see you guys in January.
Share your links if you have Bandcamp or something, because I want to check it out after the show.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't actually used Bandcamp yet because I haven't really monetized any of my music other than I have 2 tracks up on streaming services. But I do have an active SoundCloud, and that is a year-end goal to actually set up a Bandcamp. But yeah, I'll post that in the chat.
I'll make sure to follow you on SoundCloud.
Yeah, and I also want to plug Wrecked and Night Ride, and just to say that there's always different radio programs, different DJs looking for music. So
yeah, like me, like this guy.
Having stuff downloadable is what I'm trying to say. Even if it's on SoundCloud, if it's downloadable, it's always a plus, I think, because that way it's difficult for DJs, man, when it's not downloadable. That's basically the long story short.
You know what I noticed with SoundCloud though? That it has the tendency to mess the high end, especially hi-hats and stuff like that.
Yep.
So if you put it on Bandcamp or Spotify, like whenever you decide to go and like sell your music, or I mean, you can offer it for free there too, but whenever you decide, like there's better streaming there on that. Even YouTube, even if it has still a low bit rate, it doesn't mess the hi-hats like SoundCloud does. I
Oh,
noticed.
good point, Vosto. And I'll share my YouTube because that's where I put the hardware jams with the videos. So that might be more interesting for people.
Yeah, there's also a submission form too, right, on the website there for Night Ride and Rec. So that's another angle. But
Okay.
just to throw it out there, it's kind of a win-win. It gives us good material to play, and gives exposure hopefully to you as the artist, and you know, win-win-win, because then people get to hear it too, right? So the audience is. But and by the way, Peter, thanks for joining. I don't know if you can hear us, but he's a regular member. Any other comments? I was really impressed, Paul. Once again, I think everyone should go check out that YouTube video, bare minimum, to see the actual live performance instead of 2 frames. I think there was like 2 frames for that entire piece. At the end there, it advanced. It was kind of, but I appreciate it. And again, we're working through some
I just
limitations.
followed you on SoundCloud, my friend.
Sweet.
Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here and spin the wheel. Jill.
Thanks, Lenny. So this track was I presented it last month, but a very, very rough version of it. It was just a bunch of ideas. I had picked out the sounds, but it wasn't really arranged or anything. And now I have it in some sort of it's a song or a track. It's my style that I often go to, which is world fusion, you could call it, and using some samples, some playing on the keyboard, and just a lot of automation, things like that.
All right, cool.
It still needs to be mastered. It's not completed, and there's a few transitions that I'm not happy with, but I was able to get it to this point anyway for tonight.
Okay. Want to make sure the name is correct. What's the name, Jill?
It's Swamina.
Okay. Yep. Got it.
And looking for any feedback. One thing I'm noticing is it just doesn't punch through like the others. Like for instance, after listening to all the others on Twitch, I really had to turn up my volume here. And meanwhile, I did put it through Ozone before, so I'm not sure what I'm not doing right.
Yeah, I thought it sounded pretty balanced and good on these headphones, but what I was trying to type out in chat and just couldn't get it out in time was I feel like maybe the analog saturation plugins might be your friend here to just kind of thicken up that lower end and I find when you use those a bit of saturation, you can push it a little more.
Okay.
Before you clip it. So forget the name of the Ableton native plugin that does it, but
OTT?
Oh,
that's a
just
multi-band compressor. Well, you can have saturation plugin called FabFilter Saturn. It's very good for saturation. A lot of options, but just don't overdo it because it's gonna turn into a guitar distortion. You know?
Okay. So would I put that on the master or just on the drums or?
I would say track per track. I mean, there are mastering saturation in mastering plugins, but it's a different concept, right? Like not every track you have needs it, and they might need it to varying degrees, or you might want to change the color of it.
So why is it if I've used Ozone, why is it that it didn't push it up to the same level as the others?
Ozone just, I mean, depending on what part of it you're talking about, a lot of times it just squishes it to
So all our tracks were clipping, that's why.
Oh, yeah. So you really
you had the correct dynamic range. We all were like too loud.
Loudness war.
Yeah, I remember when I first started thinking, oh, everything needs to be -14. It's like, no, it's more like -9.
Okay, because what I tried with this one is before mastering, during the mixing process, I read somewhere or watched on YouTube that you start with your drums, because in a song of this type, and you aim for about -12 or so, and then you start adding all the other layers, and that will bring it up to maybe -6, -5, and then you master it. But then
so what I would.
Yeah,
I do something similar, but what I do, Jill, is if everything's at -5, I place a +5 utility on everything and then just tweak it until I get it almost exactly 0. Like I try to maximize the digital headroom before I run the mastering plugin.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like I'm basically like, as long as it's not clipping, you know what I mean? So it could be like -0.1, and you know.
Okay, I used to do that until maybe I watched too many.
I could be wrong, by the way, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
I'd try say that. Even -1 is good, man, because
-1 is what Ozone does. Yeah.
When you upload on these platforms, they're gonna push it more, and they're gonna end up clipping your stuff. So that's why.
Okay.
It was good to have headroom.
Thanks.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I had no headroom in the song that you heard. Is
Great track, Giles. When you're using Ozone on the master bus?
Yes.
And maximizer?
No maximizer, because Ozone has a maximizer built in, from what I understand.
Yeah, but I mean, it should be like, is it Ozone 9 or 10 or which
Ozone
one?
9.
Oh, so the maximizer should be obvious when it's one of the modules that loads.
Yeah.
You know? I'm just curious where that thing is set and what your waveform looks like.
Okay, I don't know. What should I look for?
Well, it depends on, it's a season to taste kind of thing for me anyhow, but sometimes I think when you load up a track that's pretty low to begin with, maximizer won't do that much in Ozone. So if you lower the threshold a bit, you'll start to notice it really fatten up, and just the whole track will fatten up.
Okay, that's good, Brian. Thanks. I'll definitely give that a try, because
my track might be an example of that, maybe an extreme example tonight.
The other thing I'll say about Ozone 9 in particular is, actually 10 is even worse for this, but so I still use 9, but you really need to pick the loudest section of your track with the most dynamic range as the thing the master assistant runs, or else you're going to get either way too loud or it'll be missing the bass. Like it's
Yeah, good tip. I did
It's-
that. I went for the
Nice.
loudest part.
nice.
But sometimes that loudest part may not have the most dynamic range. That's the tricky part.
And you're using it in line, Jill? So like in your DAW ozone
Oh yeah.
and post production or one?
No, just so
one
I do all my arrangement and my mixing,
Okay.
and then at the end I have ozone on the master track, and
see.
I'll use it smart mastering, where it samples like Brian says. Or Paul
Right,
said.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
but
wasn't sure if you then also, so you don't do the post production after. Okay.
no.
Yeah, that AI thing can be kind of tricky. The other thing is any like really heavy low bass energy you've got is really going to influence that maximizer, which is a limiter. And it will tweak the rest of your track in ways you may not have wanted, I found.
I prefer to do my own limiting, like use a Pro L and just tweak that separately. Not just have something to do everything for me, but rather put the module separately to achieve a more specific result.
Mm.
Yep, a topic
But
of
hey,
endless,
cool
endless-
percussions though, man. I like the organic shakers that you used.
Yeah,
Thanks.
the combinations of sounds too was very good. The composition. I thought it sounded good, but I hear your point, making it
Okay,
beefier,
thanks.
louder.
Well, I've got some good feedback now to try to pump it up a little bit. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you
Cheers.
for sharing. Awesome stuff. I'll go ahead and spin the wheel. Okay, Delphine, welcome. I think this is your first meetup here, so
Yeah, it's my first time here. So I'm trying to put my music out, like it's been like a few months, and my music is between house and French pop and kind of atmospheric music. And I'd like to put this music out soon, but I was wondering what I could improve before putting it out. So yeah.
I'll load it up. Just make sure I got the right track here. Could you remind me of the name?
It's daydreaming.
Ah, okay, got it. All right, let's give it a spin.
Daydreaming. Daydreaming. I'm daydreaming about you. I'm daydreaming about you. I'm daydreaming about you. En temps prête à ouvrir ma fenêtre, tu es rentré dans ma vie par derrière. En ton son de bien-être, bourrasque d'air frais. Tu as allumé mon désir, fait disparaître l'incertitude. I'm daydreaming about you. Daydreaming. I'm daydreaming about you. Daydreaming. 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 I'm daydreaming about yeah, this is it.
Top club hit. Very nice, smooth production, nice changes. Nothing is like weird. Doesn't feel like a demo project. I think you spend a lot, like a good time thinking about all the ingredients. The mix is nice. Everything is nice. Good job.
Thank you very much. I wasn't sure about the first bass actually. Like there's the slab that is almost there during the whole music, but there is another bass at the beginning, and I wasn't sure that it was well mixed in the like frequency panel, but I don't know if you noticed it.
I didn't
No.
notice it at all, but I thought it was fantastic. It's
Good
it's
track.
so sparse, but yet it's just exquisite. Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing when someone can keep something so sparse and make it so unique. And again, I also like that you didn't overprocess the vocals. Yeah, just good job. Very, very good.
And you have that French character with the vocals, like talking some French stuff here and there. I like that French house scene. It's also what inspired the synthwave scene. And that's why most bands that are good from synthwave are from France. I don't know if you are French Canadian or from France, but
Both actually.
yeah, very nice, very nice.
And
You got an actual radio friendly song, like club, and we're all a bunch of weirdos with experimental crap over here.
Yeah, speak for yourself, Austin.
Do you have a Spotify or something? Like, do you have good plays or something?
So actually, I've put one music out of on Spotify, and this one is going to be the next one.
Make sure to share that with us.
Yeah, sure.
SoundCloud, all that.
Okay,
Bandcamp.
Yet any mastering tricks you can share with us?
Actually, I just put a limiter on it, and the compressor of Fab Filter, and that's it. Actually, I didn't master it yet.
Ah, the
Wow.
fat filter.
Yeah.
Sometimes minimal mastering is good too, if it does the job,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the vocals. I mean, did you do all of them? And the layering at the end was just, it was like the icing on the cake for me because it was already good, and I was like, whoa, now you're coming in.
Yeah, I could tell it was her voice. Go on.
Yeah, actually,
it worked
my
well.
voice is not that good, but I like to put layers on my voice, and I feel that it's better. Like when you're in a crowd, when everyone is singing, it gets better. So that's what I'm trying to do when I'm using my voice. I'm layering a lot, so it gets better, and that's my trick actually. So
Oh, well done.
Yeah,
thank you
great
very
one.
much.
Professional.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you again for sharing, and make sure, put your links and when you release it. I'm not sure if it's, I think you said you have not released it yet, right? So, but when you do, please let us know. Ah, okay. Speaking of weirdos. All right, well, I've actually released this tune the other day, so some of you may have actually heard it, but it's basically drum and bass tune, and so I'll just let it play, and hopefully, did I not include you, Brian? I was just seeing this. Sorry about that. I'll add your name there. I don't know if that's what you're responsible. Sorry about that, Brian. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play this tune and see what you guys think. Tune and
Good job, Spy. Very much in the spirit of the band of current value, drum and bass. We've talked about this. It's your favorite band, so I can see the influence there.
Yeah, no, specifically machine code and current value was the inspiration. So, and I tried to keep it simple. So I just went back to basics, and my goal was to improve the engineering. So that's one thing I really find with DJing, current value especially. I always say this, but it's the truth. It's like next level, and the dynamic range, how everything cuts through, it just, and the energy that it brings, it just, it's like it's science and art. So I tried to it's the word be I tried to, I was influenced by that. I don't think it's in the same category though, frankly speaking. Like I don't think it's nowhere
Oh,
near on that
low
level.
low budget current value then.
Yeah, well,
But
Fan
yeah,
art. Current value fan art.
yeah, well, it mixes well. So this is a track that I specifically made for DJing as well. So, I know DJ Wolf is always saying it, but this is very true of this track. I mean, the second drop really is just, room to mix in the second track over top of it. So it's purposely, you know, coherent that way, or I tried to make it such that the variations weren't too. It could be more variation though, you know what I mean? Like that's the balance I sometimes struggle with is that how do you make a DJ friendly track if you want to use that term and at the same time make it stand on its own if you were to listen to it from beginning to end. You know what I mean? To achieve both. And actually current value and machine code do that, and a lot of the best producers do that. So kudos to them. But yeah.
you find you make any like specific decisions when you're preparing a track for DJing? Like I'm thinking like maybe having more bass so you can cut the bass of EQ or planning for certain transitions. Like what's kind of the thought process for that? Because I know one thing I don't ever do is plan to make a dance ready track. So
Yeah, I don't really plan to make it as much as I'm just so familiar with the structure, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And especially in the last several years, the structure has become extremely like there's always people that break the rules, and that's the beauty of it. But there are certain like structure, like the
Mm,
intros, used to be 32 bars, for example, like a lot of drum and bass. If you were to go back and I mean, you could just mix intros all day long, 32 bars, right? And I can now, based on the time, because I'm at 174 BPM, 32 bars is 44 seconds. So I can
yeah.
just look at the time and I already have a feel for like, oh, okay. And and then, but then the older drum and bass tracks was totally different because it was more like vinyl mixing and they would have, maybe that's the reason, I don't know, but it was like longer intros, longer outros. So Peter makes a good point, like especially in the older school dance tracks, it would be longer intros and outros. But to be honest with you, with the new style of DJing, especially the way I do anyway,
Loop it.
I can work with 16 bars, frankly. Like
Yeah.
I don't need, 3 minutes or whatever to mix out, right? Plus there's the double dropping. So you're literally playing two tracks at the same time sometimes for let's say a minute or 2 minutes. It all depends, you know what I mean? And I feel like I just scratch the surface with that ability, like an NDC that's got like 3 tracks going and he's triple
Mm,
dropping and it's like, you know. But yeah, just to answer your question again, I think it's just subconscious. I don't think I actually literally think, okay, this is going to be, exactly, a dance track and I'm going to
sure.
follow it. It's more the feel of it, you know what I mean? And
But it's like it's
but
innate in you from all the DJing you've been doing over the years. It's not like you have to think about, oh, how do I make this style of track again?
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and I haven't always been a DJ. I'm sort of newer at it than some people. So I was producing and producing for years and years, and I said this all along that DJing is a really, really good way to help your production, especially if you're making dance music, because first of all, you get to hear, you know, other music and how it feels when you're mixing it, which is much different than just listening to a track on its own and playing it straight through. And you know, and it's easy to underestimate, frankly. I used to underestimate what DJs did actually, because I thought, oh, okay, you know, they're just playing, you know, other people's music, but in fact, it's totally different these days, and especially with the newer technologies, like I say, you can do isolation stems now on the fly.
Mm.
I don't know if people are aware of that, but you can literally make an acapella just on a stereo mix. Just hit a button and bingo, it's an acapella.
Well,
Or the reverse, you can make an instrumental. You can pull out the bass line. It's good for production too. Like I've been, you know,
I just heard the FL Studio just release AI stem separation, and I'm very interested to try that out
yeah.
because that's a
I
program I bought
actually, as
15 years
far as
ago,
I
and I still
know,
get the upgrades.
I'm someone that hates to say things that are incorrect, but I think Virtual DJ might have been the first to offer that instant anyhow.
Mm.
Like I've been using Spleeter, like this little whatever freeware thing for the longest time to do that with like a batch file. But it's actually a good production. I mean, obviously, right? If you think about all the possibilities now that where you can strip out parts out of a stereo mix, you know, for the longest time we had to do it the old-fashioned way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's EQ. Yeah.
exactly.
I love that that choice you made at the end to just have that one note at the end there that just goes on. I thought it was really cool, especially after, you know, the drum and bass erratic, and then just this cool
Yeah, thank
tranquility
you.
almost.
And sometimes, you know, it was so simple, but the combination of like, for example, that I think it was just serum, you know, and it keeps the sustain is going. So every time it goes through, it just builds and builds and builds, and it just naturally a really nice sound. And so that's what I mean by going back to basics. I was thinking rather than try to get nuts, just enjoy sometimes. Because, and in fact, that's something I learned from Technical Itch, you know. A lot of his tracks are just really simple, but it does it every time. It puts you in that mood or whatever. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and pick the next name. But yeah, thanks for listening and thanks for the feedback. And Brian, I added you. Apologies again. I don't know how that happened. Okay. So Thomas.
Yeah. All right. Um, so this is going to be another video. We'll see. We'll see how this
You know,
works
it
out.
might be better to play the YouTube link. I'm thinking, to be honest with you, Thomas. But how do you
So
feel about it?
you would play the YouTube link? Do you want me to send that to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know,
Use less
these
system resource.
Yeah.
yeah,
One
we'll
sec.
use
Let me
less system
go grab it.
resources. Yeah, and our SoundCloud track that we first started off was okay, so
Yeah.
I'm feeling like
Yeah.
that could be the best sound quality.
So this is kind of maybe a two-parter if you'll allow it. The first one is it's actually the same track, but back in July, there's an event in Toronto, the Toronto Electronic Music um, open mic that runs once a month, and I heard about it, and so I went and got on stage and did a short set. And the first, I did two pieces during that set. The first piece was the one that I had used for the video at the prior meetup that we had. And then the second one was a new one that I prepared for that. And it was a disaster. I mean, it wasn't a disaster. It was, you know, my first time up there, and I had different technical issues, and my clocks weren't lining up or whatever. But I just wanted to share just like the last couple of minutes of that live set. I mean, live set. It was
Oh, just lost it.
just the just this
Oh, you're
piece here.
back
Let me get
again.
this for you. I'll throw this. Yeah, I think yeah, so that's like the umbrella group, and then there's a Toronto Electronic Music open mic, TEMOM, that
Yeah,
that-
amazing. This
Yeah,
is
I didn't actually know. I
great.
wasn't aware of that. I'm thank you
Yeah,
for bringing that.
yeah,
to me.
Paul, I think you'd really enjoy it, and then if this works out, then I recorded the piece afterwards, just in my usual space. So I don't know if we have time for that, but certainly I think this first one will be interesting. It's
And we
very
have time.
fuzzy,
We have time.
but
For sure.
My camera, my autofocus didn't work, but you'll get the vibe.
Is that the group that used to meet at Kensington Market years ago?
It is at Handlebar in Kensington, yeah. So I don't know how long. I don't think they've only been running since the start of this year in this incarnation, but there may be maybe an evolution of what you're referring to.
I remember there was a drone meetup. Did you ever hear about those? Where I think that was different, where people all came together and jammed in like a big circle, and it was just like drone sounds.
Lenny, did you get the link I chatted you?
On the email?
No, it's in the Zoom Slack. Do you want me to email it to you?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sorry about
Yeah.
that.
And like, so just to reiterate it, because I remember I looked at one of them was like pretty short, I thought, right? It was like a small clip.
This is the short one.
So maybe I'll try the playback on the short one, Thomas, because and
sure,
if that works. If not, I'll replay it on whatchamacallit, YouTube. So okay, let's give it a whirl.
Awesome. Give it up for BB Boots. That was the pure definition of live electronic music. I felt your panic at the beginning, but congratulations on getting through that. That was awesome.
The organizer is super cool, and he was the panic he mentioned was at the beginning. I was the first piece I was using the original drum brute, and the one I have, the tempo knob doesn't work. If you turn it too fast, it jumps back down to 32 BPM, and I forgot to set the tempo when I started, so I was like very slowly trying to turn up the tempo, and it was just anyway. it was fun.
It was very cool. Thanks for sharing with us. This is fun.
Could have fooled me, man. It's good set.
Yeah,
It sounded great. I wanted to ask, what did you use to glitch out the kind of string? You brought in the string pad and then just like it sounded like you totally mangled it like as your outro. I'm curious what you were using.
It's all Micro Freak. So that was just two instruments really. It was a Micro Freak and a drum root impact.
Nice.
Was the whole set. So I was really happy with the way that turned out actually.
No, it sounded really fat. And like I just picked up a drum root impact used and I'm it's so like interactive. Like I don't know.
I love it. It's
great little drum machine.
Yeah. So I started on this journey in January with those two instruments, the drum root impact and the Micro Freak, and it was kind of a year of exploring and realizing that I really want to work with hardware. So I've kind of doubled down on that and Boxing Day shopped the crap out of a bunch of additional synth voices. So Paul, your setup, like that's what I want to be when I grow up.
Well, if I'm gonna say, just if you're gonna buy one thing, get an Electron Digitech. That's my favorite of everything they have.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
So you actually have a keyboard, right? There's a keyboard there or not?
There is, yeah. Lenny, can you pull up the other one maybe? It's it's the same piece. We don't have to play the whole thing, but just like,
well, actually, I mean, we have time, so I'm thinking let's do it, man. I mean, I'm just hoping the playback, I think that was out of focus to begin with, right?
It was out of focus to begin with,
right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking the next video, if it's a similar resolution.
Yeah, it's actually
higher?
This one was the one you played was HD.
Pretty low, actually.
The new one is 4K, so we'll see if maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, it might, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. Again, I think by next meetup I'll have a better computer, so this will be it will no longer be an issue. But like I say, it is what it is right now.
Are all your buttons programmed? Are pre-programmed? They're hard coded, or you have to program them?
So there's a drum sequence that I turn different parts on and off of, and then on the synth there's a synth sequence, that sort of repetitive part, and then I do different things on the synth to change, to kind of vary it. So this is very lightly sequenced, but mostly performance.
Right. So your buttons, did you have to program them, or for instance, the filter is a filter button on the hardware that just does filter?
It's all dedicated functions on hardware.
So that frees up your mind.
There's a hardware knob, a filter knob, and a resonance knob, and the envelope knobs. They're all, I gravitate towards instruments where it's like one function per knob. Anything with a lot of menu diving doesn't jive with me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know that feeling for sure. But okay, that's so.
This is the same base. Every time I watch it back, I'm like, that probably should have been like a minute shorter.
Yeah, I would say if you're looking to refine it into like maybe a 4.5 minute track.
Totally.
But I really want to know about the Eventide H90 and like how you have been using it so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great multi-effects pedal. It will run 2 algorithms simultaneously, pretty much from anywhere in the Eventide portfolio. So like the Black Hole or the different, any of the different standalone effects pedals, those algorithms are in there, and you can run them in parallel, in series, so one into the other, or you can actually run it as two totally independent effects chains. And then they've got a ton of performance controls. They've got like the different knobs that you can use and you can program. Like at the end there's an effect on, I was using a tape echo. And so there's an effect there that like simulates the tape boiling over or whatever. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the few things I use that has a lot of menu diving, but I still really enjoy. And you know, it's a good like I think it's a good value for all the different things that it gives you.
Yeah, it's got everything. Yeah.
So when's the next event, Thomas?
The next event is December 11th, but I'm not going to be. I'm
okay,
not going to
at
be.
that handlebar.
I'll probably attend, but I don't think I'm going to go on stage this time.
Right on.
But yeah, if you know, if you're free in downtown, it's like two Mondays from now or whatever it is.
Cool, cool. And yeah, no, just to echo, I mean, again, sorry about the video, but we definitely got an idea of it at least with and like, I mean, like I was saying before, you make it look easy, but I know that takes a lot of practice and you know, I just you know, really good job basically.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Sounds great. I mean,
Yeah, the only thing is the length thing, but I understand because it's a live performance, so you're like kind of jamming around. If you ever decide to actually make it into a track, I'm sure you know to do with it to
Yeah,
limit it.
100%. It's definitely like I'm trying. When I started at the start of the year, I was had like 6 and 8 minutes and whatever, and I'm trying to keep everything to like 4 minutes maximum now. The last thing I posted was like 2 minutes, and it's enough.
Well, honestly, some of the like more famous, like the people who regularly record jams, like I'm thinking like Red Means Recording, people like that, like they'll just do a minute and a half and say, yeah, that's it. You get one kind of theme. It's yeah. So
thanks everyone.
yeah, thank you for sharing. And so I think we got one name left, Brian. And did you want to set this up before we?
Sure, this is a little different from. It's not really a dance track. Tomorrow, I'm releasing a EP of a bunch of movie music that I had pitched and was used in some indie flicks during 2023, and this one did not make the cut. And so maybe you guys can tell me what's wrong with it. Other than that, it was pitched for a horror movie and a horror short, I should say, and it's got a lot of sound design. And actually, it was based on two things that I got some field recordings for. One was a snippet of a Netflix show, and the other was just some sound that I grabbed from a nightclub, some people talking in a nightclub. So that's that. Let me know what you think.
Alrighty.
But Brian, did you compose this while watching like clips of the movie?
Not really. It was written in mind of, and it was intended to be kind of an opener. So it was written with the idea that there's going to be like scanning footage of stuff going on, and it could have been cut up, but I'll never know why it didn't make the cut.
Okay, let's give it a listen.
In the same room with Jigsaw. It's great.
Thank you. Although I'm not so sure about the Jigsaw part, but I guess I'll take what I can get, right?
I think that I couldn't explain why, you know what I mean, like where you submitted it or whatever, why they wouldn't choose it, but I thought it definitely did the horror, I mean, theme, speaking the obvious here. There was like a part where you had like the drums part come in. I don't know if it was
Yes.
like that could have been, I don't know what to say about it. Like it was good, but perhaps it could have been a little bit different, perhaps, like in terms of how hard it would hit. I don't know if you agree with that, Paul, but it was really
Oh,
the timing was perfect though.
I think for me there was a part where like it almost sounded like there was like a it was like
Right.
either a dark snare or a bright tom that like was distorted but kind of rose over everything. I wanted more of that. You know what I mean? Like making that more of a motif. But other than that, yeah, it's
Was that pretty far along in the tune?
yes.
Yeah.
You know,
And
you know what, I remember thinking about that at the time, and I thought, nah, I'm not going to keep adding stuff to this. So, but it's too late now. So
yeah.
next time.
No.
I think you should take my advice and just become DJ Jigsaw and like change your whole persona, wear a hood, a dark hood, and just go with it, man.
Hey, how's this?
Just dim the lights.
Perfect. Perfect.
Exactly.
10 out of
More
10, man. We
confidence
like the
here.
track. We like the track.
Yeah, it's really good. How did you build it? So yeah, how did you build it? Because so many elements work together. Um,
So there's that snippet that sounds kind of percussive at the beginning. I heard notes in that, so I just used that as the motif for most of the tune, and then just expanded on it. And I did things without thinking, basically, and just ran with it. And the other thing was, I got this snippet from this nightclub I was at, where these people were talking, and it's that weird vocal thing, and I just loved that sound. And it was like, wow, this is like otherworldly stuff going on. So that became like the counterweight to the snippet that I grabbed off of the video. And it can be yours for only $6 tomorrow on Bandcamp Friday, along with 5 other tunes that did make the cut. So there.
Right on. 5 out of 6. That's pretty good, man. So 5 out of the 6 cuts are so it's all like movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
Excellent.
so in a case like this, do they pay you or do you just get the credits?
In a lot of cases, well, it depends on. So this year was pretty good. I got paid for everything. But in the past, a lot of times it's just for credits. And there's been more than once where they neglected to do that. It's an ugly job at the bottom, man. I'm telling you.
And do you get royalties by any chance, or is it just like a one-time thing?
This is like always work for hire.
Right, right, okay.
So that's why I still have the rights to do it as I please with it.
Yeah.
So I
I,
can
I, I think
maybe,
I think Brian, you did put the links in the Discord, but if you want to throw it right here in the Zoom chat,
yeah.
just remind us.
Right. I love the interplay of the different piano lines uh, on that, and the way they built that was great. The only comment I have is when that first piano first came in, I found it maybe a little bit jarring. Like, I don't know, just it felt really loud all of a sudden, which maybe that was the intent. It was like a jump scare. So maybe that works perfectly. But that's the only thing that sort of that I noticed.
Cool. Appreciate it. I'll have to listen back and keep that in mind for future work.
Really good melodic arrangements with the pianos for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, very good creepy stuff. Like it's obvious. I don't have to say it, but I like the way you move the harmonies to another place and to another place. Maybe it was rejected or something because it had a bunch of random effects. Maybe you should focus on that piano with the bass line, with the nice percussion, and have a few effects here and there. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's really almost impossible to tell because the brief that I got, I think this one was through Mandy, if you've heard of that. It's out of UK.
Yeah.
And there's no telling really. I mean, people who are describing what they want,
They
they
just
have
put it
no
in the
idea,
Twitch feed. That's where I heard that before. Sorry.
they have no idea what they want. And you got to get pretty lucky sometimes.
Yeah, in the chat, I mean, someone from Mandy. But yeah, so we still have some time on the clock. We could go around again, play some other tracks actually. Um, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Vostel, but you did send a second track,
Yeah, no problem. Let's go.
and also I don't know if you're prepared to do a screen share. I don't want to be accused of false advertising. I did put in the meeting event that an accomplished producer was gonna
Very
do.
accomplished. I have a sewing machine. That's my accomplishment.
No, but Vosto is he's kind of modest and the opposite at the same time is what I'd like to say about you. But in all sincerity, man, you have like quite accomplished, you know, a lot and
Yeah.
huge success in the synthwave. Um, so, and I remember when the first time you joined our group, and I think I made this point to you, like I've been running this personally. I mean, all of us, we've been varying degrees, but 7 years myself, and so I'm constantly hearing music. And when you came and played your music, it was like, impressed everybody. So says a lot when when you have the numbers and the impact, and you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah, look, this is my
it's not a fluke
inspiration.
when you keep doing it.
This is my inspiration here. Yeah, well, like I said, I think I mean, now you can't see me anymore, but yeah. Uh, I got really lucky with the synthwave train, man, because I started doing it when people were really looking for it. So that's how I got that over 1 million plays on that one song, and then hundreds of thousands of other plays. But at the same time, I think I'm going, with every good band, like sometimes you're good in the beginning, and then you start sucking after that. It's not at the same quality anymore. Instead of progressing, I regress. But I can show you a project if you want from Station
Yeah,
23,
please.
from my new
I mean, don't
from
give
my new
away all
album.
your secrets, I don't think I need to even say that, but magician has to keep a few tricks up his sleeves, as they say.
No, I
But
think
if you want to share, hey, I mean, I'm just, I don't
right
want to be a
now
huge.
you want to
Yeah.
let well, I don't know if it's gonna work though, but I'll try.
Yeah, the only thing I'm not sure about is the sound, but we'll let you know. And I
So
really
I've
appreciate this, by the way. I just want to reiterate.
yeah, I don't know in what state I left it though. Like, see how everything is poorly organized, but there's like a million channels. Let's see if we have any sound. Do you see the effects chain?
Yeah.
Like the effects chain, you see
If
that,
you
right?
look at the if you
Yeah.
look at the Twitch feed as well, also you can see it, but yeah, you can see it at the bottom right now.
All right. So if I press the space bar, do you hear any sound?
Not through Zoom.
Did you click on share sound?
I clicked on share screens.
Yeah. So
Maybe you should go on File and Preferences and put the sound on Zoom, like in Ableton.
Like in the output?
But even in
I don't know.
Zoom, there's a option to share sound, right? You're saying, Jill?
yeah, so maybe unshare your screen and share it again, but look, when you're sharing the screen, there's
You're
a button
able
for
to.
share sound.
Yeah, and share the
Okay.
application.
So there's an application. Wait. So I think I clicked on I didn't click on share screen. I just clicked on share Ableton Live. Share sound.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, now try play.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry.
So let's see now. You get something now?
Yes.
And it sounds all right?
Sounds good.
This is just a bell. It's just a bell.
Yeah, it sounds like a bell.
When you click
So
share
I can
sound,
just
there's
leave
high quality sound.
Let's try it, okay? I'll play it. And then you tell me if it's okay. Scheiße. Oh, look, he has a cat too. mixers a la Gilles.
Boston, can you tell us some of the approaches you've taken here?
I'll just let the stroke finish and then we can go for some other things. Yeah, I think it's enough, but there's a different drop as well. We're gonna skip right to it, so like it builds up and then it's like a bit more growly. Anyways, you get the idea. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy, huh? What like the amount of clutter in this, huh?
Yeah,
But
I think
but
Jill, you had a question. Sorry to interrupt, Voss.
Yeah, just if you could, first of all, can you close out that 11, like live 11 box on the right hand side? It'll give us a bit more space there.
yeah,
thanks.
but I didn't even know it was on because I had the zoom
Okay.
things. Your zoom cameras are on that side of the screen.
So if you could just tell us just a few approaches that you've used here that are not so straightforward, that people, the little, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
For example, this ghost piano, I think what makes it cool, because normally it's just a piano sound, like a really simple one. But what the? Oh, did I solo something by mistake? Okay. So, like, this is a simple piano, right? But like the effects chain, you know, these Pro Q3s, like I only keep some stuff, you know. I don't even know how I end up in places, but like this erosion thing, you know, this like down sampling on the piano sounds really cool. Without it, it wouldn't be the same. And again with the see how it adds like a top level of raspiness, so it makes it from another world. And then when you put the side chain with the kick, like that's really cool, you know. And of course, I use Diva on this. It's pretty cool synth, more like an emulator of vintage synthesizers. Let's see what stuff I have here, because I actually didn't prepare for this at all. I just opened a project that I know was good, but I kind of forgot about. I kind of forgot about the project. Obviously, this is like a super vintage kind of sound, but then I put these other type of basses, you know.
That's a great sound right there, man. I like that.
And then
And you have two layers, right, Vasto? Like those are instruments, like
yeah, the what layer one is this one. A bit of decapitator to add a few more harmonics information into the song, and then set a transformer by Kush, the Omega. It's pretty good. I made a bass mono already in here because I didn't want too much stereo clutter. And then this is just a little bit of wavy thing going on. What else?
Do you copy and paste that just out of curiosity? So for example, specifically those two like bass lines, like did you do like one record it and copy and paste and manipulate it?
Yeah, you record one and you put it to the other one. But there's a cool thing that happens. Where is it? See, because the song is so bassy and stuff, you need to come with those high frequency cheap chips, you know? Like that's why I went with like such a high frequency hi-hat stuff here, you know? Like this is all like super high, especially this shaker. It's like EQ'd on the high frequency, like something like that. You
Hey,
know?
Buster, did you see Blade Runner 2049?
Yeah, of course, of
really
course. Of course, it's one of my favorite. Oh, look at these layers over here, because this is kind of cool. So, you know, this goes really good with the bass. Like that sound with this, like... It's such a good sound, this one. And it's made with a simple Legend Mini-Moog emulator, basically, you know. And then the Saturn thing that I was talking about, this is the saturation that changes, makes the sound really cool. Like, see, without it, it's just this. And there's the transformer here, and obviously the reverb. So it's just that, without it. See? But then you put the saturation, adds extra harmonics. You put transformer on, which adds even more extra harmonics. And put on the reverb, and then it's suddenly a lead with a ton of personality, in my opinion. You know? So it's like a storytelling thing. And then I have a hard pan here, top layer, and a bit lower layer here. So to add more stereo features to the main lead. So together sounds really cool like that. Like it feels the spectrum in the place where I want to, because you have to be careful to not collide with the bass, you know. And then the bass and with the leads, we could solo and listen to them a little bit. See how they complete each other really well? And then you have to keep your song interesting. Like, okay, we are repeating, but you know, you have to keep it interesting and make a few changes. Like sometimes it goes like na na na, but sometimes it goes something else, you know. Like I didn't have this before, like this uphill thing, like exactly on the half time beat type. I don't know how to explain, man. My English is shit. But I don't know if anyone is getting anything from this, honestly.
No. Yes. I think this is
then
amazing.
What else we got? We got a layer of snare that, like, there's this, which is a clap hands, but it has also a distortion on it to make it cooler. And of course, I have a drums bus with the Novatron. That's a compressor. So like you can take these drums how you want. How to move around each other, because with the compressor you can do movements in your drums. You can decide if you want your kick to be more fast or like more gentle, or you know, that interaction, like the snare more powerful or more musical, by manipulating how much attack and release we have here and how much we compress. Usually if we have a shorter release, we get a more snappy, powerful snare. If you have, and with a lot of compression, with the more release and less compression, you get a more musical kind of sound. It's really cool when you intercalate, when you add to the mix hi-hats too. You can tell the difference. like if you mix it together, but in this example, I don't have it mixed that way. I have it mixed separately. So it goes like this. Let's see what kind of kick I have. So it's like a boxy kind of with a bit of vibration to it, to the kick. I don't know what this is. This is just a double. So I have two kicks. On one, I have set the side chain to affect the other instruments, but the other kick doesn't affect the other instruments at all. So that doesn't affect the volume. So if I put this extra kick inside of the first kick, then it wouldn't be good for the dynamic range of the other instruments. And then what else do I have? This pad stuff. That by itself is not so interesting, right? But see, it has an automation on it, like one goes up, like you didn't have it before, it was more like here, but then it goes up. I think it's just automating this, but no, it's not that. I don't know. Yeah, this one. So the FabFilter Pro, the Micro, this one is a really cool effect. It's not just an EQ that goes to that. It adds kind of a fuzzy texture, and it adds this spike here. So when it travels from left to right, you really feel it, you know? And then it's the question of adding the reverb after this or before this. It depends what kind of effect you want. In this case, I want it to be very precise, because if I let it after, then it would keep adding more high frequency muddiness in there, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be very specific. So this is all progressive, like the sound evolves. And Delphine had a good point with my new song, because it was all messy. But this is what happens when I spend a few more days on a track. It gets to a point where it makes sense together, you know? And then at the end, I have this cool outro, where it's a nice chord that I wanted to emphasize. Like everything becomes more gentle, it falls down. And then that nice chord at the end. So, you know, melodic, but also growly and powerful. I think this is a cool project. I don't know what else to say about these layers. Again, that I explained. Some stuff I decided to mute because I didn't want it in the song. I thought it was too messy, so I removed it. You have to spend your time a lot and decide what to let go of. Even if you love it, you have to let it go like a bird. And then I have small effects here that add to the layer. So like this and this. Like this one is more wobbly, but together it's like, you know, it's like trying to make layers to get the sound organic. And silence, use of silence. Use of silence is very important. And I think I let go of all of this stuff. Probably I liked it when I jammed with it, but then I removed it. So, so that's the project.
Very cool.
So,
how about your master bus?
Probably it's some simple crap. Let's see. A little bit of attack increase on the. Well, let me put it at the energetic part of the song. So. Maybe here. it's a matter of sculpting precisely how you want. Like first you maybe do a little boost, but then you decide that you want, at this frequency to be a little bit lower, but still keep that one there. And then add this one because you want to emphasize a small part of a certain frequency, because you can solo it, it can be like this. And decide what you want to do with that. Some people prefer to do it in the mix. I do it both. I manipulate the equalizer in the mix, but I also manipulate it separately. So I would take a band and I would solo, and I would see what information I have in the song, like this. And then I decide, kind of cool, nice, crispy creatures in there. So maybe I would want to boost that a little bit. And then I listen again and again and again, decide. And then you can make like a small, like you can make surgical cuts. Then if you have like resonations and stuff, you can remove them like this. But I didn't have any in this. I usually do that with hi-hats. If I have a resonance in the hi-hat and I don't like it, I precisely cut it. So most modern producers, they cut a lot here. Like they usually do something like that. I don't. But that cuts all the warmth out of the music. So I like to keep the warmth in my music because it gives me nice creamy bass, and don't judge me.
So how did you make sure you weren't clipping?
That's all the limiter. See, it's set to -1 here. So like in the limiter, you'll have that there, and you can decide how much to boost. First of all, my levels, they're all at -6, minus, and then you can boost more with the limiter. You can boost all that 6 that you cut away.
Right. And where's the limiter?
This is the limit. You don't see it?
Do you put it on each track, the
I
limiter?
was showing you.
We see it. Yeah, the Pro L plugin.
So this is limiting right now. This is what is get limited.
Okay. So that's on the master?
Yeah, it's on the master.
On the master.
And you can set your attacks and your release, how much you want to sculpt. There are presets that you can play with for electronic music, house music, hip hop, drum and bass, with the transients and transient shaper here. If you want to have your transients more pronounced and stuff like that.
And where is it on the master bus?
Well, it's right after the compressor.
Okay.
See? And then, so that's all I have, bro. I have equalizer, I have compressor a little bit, just to create movement in the song, because this is a wobbly song, it's like whoa. So because it's like that, this needle, I prefer it when it moves and it creates more movement for the song. But then I can add it back, the constantness of it by limiting it.
And do you use this chain generally in all your tracks, or do you kind of switch out certain effects?
I have this cool. No, I always do different on every track.
Yeah. Okay.
According to what it needs. It's this is like a view meter. It's pretty good, but you have to calibrate it yourself to what you want. I don't use it much anymore because I can just kind of hear the sound now. But it's pretty cool. I just like how it looks. Sometimes looking at things inspire me. And you see that, because I can't afford all those hardwares to have in my room. So I like to have meters and stuff to play with in my own songs. Yeah, I mix. I have sometimes, this is a pretty cool thing for sound toys, but in this case I just use it for a little bit of panning. I could have put just the panning, but I was going through the presets here because it has a ton of presets. Like these are the modules that you can attach to it if you want more. Like there's cool things like radiator, so it's similar to how it works in Reason. These are all kinds of distortions and effects and stereo trap stuff. And this Filter Freaks, like a really cool filter plugin. Like it feels like it's a filter from the 70s or something, adds more texture to the filtering. But I don't even know what I'm on now, so I'm on this. Yeah, the changes are probably minuscule because this one is just a small high frequency band here, so you don't hear much modifications from those effects that I added, but everything has its role and its purpose in the 3-dimensional scale. Like, for example, this sounds like crap, right? But it has its role that it gives more hammering to the sounds, to the keys, because those are very flowy, they flow. So I felt like it needed something. Well, maybe I actually removed it and I used this one instead. I added the kick to the sound this, because this one is very flowy and stuff, so it needs something. So you'll play for hours and hours until you find the right textures and sounds and effects. And this is the OTT school. Makes a you can stay in this multi-band compressor and decide how much stuff you want from each band. Okay? Until you reach to the right point. It's really good. Then this free plugin called Tal Chorus. It's one of the best chorus ever, man, and it's free. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess
All plugins are great.
Paul, didn't you make a Tal?
I didn't make a Tal plugin. When I went to Seneca College for technical writing training, I wrote the manual for Tal Noisemaker. It was their free
the
VST.
manual. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry again.
But yeah, it was one of the first like VSTs I dived in and learned how to use, and so I used it as a school project. And it's still there.
Cool.
Yeah, bro. So that's it. This is Project Station 23. That's all it is.
That's great.
It's
thanks so much for
has a lot of movement, and yeah, maybe next time you guys can do one of these things where you explain your layers and stuff.
Yes, I'm trying to get Peter, who did agree. I don't mean to put him on the spot, but for the next one.
Yeah.
But Vostel, this is much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry, I
got a lot of Ableton users out there.
I was unprepared. I forgot about this part of the show. You told me, but I forgot. I'm sorry, man.
No, please don't apologize. I mean,
no, I just want to say I appreciated seeing your use of layering and how you described carving out the different frequencies on, identical parts with minor variations. Like, yeah, that's something I don't do enough of in Ableton.
It's very important because that's the character to your sound. It gives you personality.
Yeah,
makes you stand out, and the sound is not lame anymore.
No, and it's more yours too because you've put work into it,
and you feel it too because you're trying to get that wall of sound. So you have to have this and this and this from left to right, and it all has to fit together and have personality and texture. So sorry if it got too boring though.
It was very interesting. I was wondering, do you automate a lot some features? Like, I don't know, an auto filter or even the reverberation?
Of course.
Yeah.
I only showed you the automation with the FabFilter Micro, which is like a high pass kind of modulation, or not modulation, but automation. But I do a lot of automation on the cutoff a lot in my songs to create the wow thing, like going up and down, or like if you have an arpeggiator that goes and goes, like you play with the cutoffs to make it more bright as you go through the song. I mean, I'm sure everyone does that kind of thing. Automation is one of my favorite things, but I don't think I had it much in this song. I just made it with envelopes and stuff from the effects, from the envelope of the synthesizer itself.
Amazing. Amazing.
Oh, amazing. Maybe I'm not the best explainer because it's like,
I think seeing is believing sometimes, like as the comments, I mean, seeing the project and comparing it to the
sometimes,
sound. I mean, because I don't know about how different experience levels could be a situation, I think, where a lot of people were just stuck in our own world. So seeing how other people approach it
Hmm.
is just extremely useful.
Yeah,
layering
totally
is my
agree.
favorite thing, and also automating. I'm sorry I didn't talk about that.
But we could see the layering. I mean, you could see how much
No, she asked me about, because I didn't explain
automation.
anything about automation at all, except for that one micro thing.
Yeah, that's
But
okay. You can't explain everything. Like your project is quite huge, so
yeah,
Keep it for
but
next time.
automating is good, man. Like that's my favorite thing, because in Ableton you can pick any knob and decide what you want to draw on it to get your custom made sound, basically.
And so you used Reason before, right, Vostel? And now you use Ableton. Were those your two main DAWs, would you say, or did you use like Fruity Loops in the past, or?
Yeah, I used Fruity Loops when I was 12, and then I used it until I was like 14, and then I stopped making music. I picked it back up again when I was like 17, and then I switched to Reason 5 at the time. It was a cool program because you could flip any program and see the inputs and outputs and stuff in the back of the synthesizer, and you could modulate stuff like an Euro rack.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right,
so I
right. That's
played
what I
with
was.
that for a while, but then a friend of mine said, "Man, you got to get into Ableton. It's really nice. Look how minimal looking it is. It's like slick." And then I got into that, and I observed. I liked it. I stuck with it, but it can do exactly the same things as the other programs. So whether you're using Fruity Loops or Ableton or Reason, I think you can accomplish the same things. And then the VSTs are really cool. Like they give the strength. So for example, for my growly type basses, I like to use like Legend by Synapse, even though it seems very simple. But it's a beautiful emulator that gets closer even to Diva, to mimicking the sound of the late 70s synthesizers. So you get that really nice warmth in the low end, you know? I don't think something like Serum replicates that as well. You don't have as much randomness in the sound of Serum, but
Mm.
you want to use Serum for something more precision. If you want precisions and linearity and something modern sounding and exact, you use Serum. I use it for more high frequency type sounds.
Hmm.
But there's no rule. There's no rule. I like to use the Prophet 5 emulator as well. It's called the Repro 5. It's fantastic. Maybe I should show you some of the synths that I have, huh?
Please.
But maybe you're getting maybe it's boring. I don't know. What do you want? You want to see the synths or no?
Sure, sure,
yeah,
yeah.
I'd like that.
Yeah, it's not boring, man. It's
Uh,
we're all music nerds here, so we can
uh,
we can handle it.
okay. Well, in that in
I
that
just don't want to. I
case,
don't want to be too greedy, to be honest with you. That's what I feel bad about, because it's like. But if you're willing to share, I mean, I know that there's so much to it, and You know, like I feel
No,
like a lot
but
of you make it look easy, I
maybe
think, in a way. Well, not easy, but you're able to navigate with all this complexity and still keep it like very coherent. I think
ah,
I personally sometimes get lost when I add another layer. I'm like, oh man, now I'm in a different direction. Like in other words, you start off with one song. It's a classic thing that I've heard over the years, and you go down all these rabbit holes, and next thing you know, you've
why
created
am I
30
sharing
songs in
screen?
one.
I don't want to share screen. Well, now I can't find my Ableton, man. Uh, yeah, I think it's a major fail here, guys.
No, not at all, not at all. And again, I do thank everyone for their patience as well with some of the technical difficulties. Like I say, my computer is it's getting old.
Yeah. Well, if we actually prepared for it rather than just winging it like this, but I forgot, so my bad. Do I still share the sounds or no? Like, do you hear sound or no?
Yes, yeah, I hear. Yep.
Okay, so like that beautiful synthesizer, the bassy one, like this one that soloed, like to me it's like gold. It sounds like a big fart, doesn't it? It's great.
It's an
So
inspiring
thick.
sound.
Well, look, it's fucking sorry. It's just this, man. It's an emulator of the Moog, basically. You know, you got your three oscillators and with some simple settings, a little bit of drive and a bit of like you can go crazy with this cutoff. Go here. But and you can really feel how real it is compared to other VSTs. I don't know. It's a really cool synth, this one.
In this track, in this track, did you automate any of those?
No,
No.
no, I thought for what I needed, I actually didn't do much, so I kept it right about here, no resonance at all, because I only needed that. And then, you know, I create the other atmosphere with the other stuff that's here in this group. So here. So that creates the extra layers. Hey, this pulsates upwards. Put that together. Create that crescendo. Yeah.
You automate any of your frequency of your the power of the sound? What's what the gain? Do you automate the gain at all?
No, not in this case. Not in this case. In other cases, I don't know exactly where I have like in this case the serum. So in this case, what's automated is just this cutoff. What I forgot, like one. So this goes into. See, just that. And then it's also the wobbly thingy. It makes it wobble a little bit, and then it goes up the slope on the cutoff. So that's a case of automation. Very simple, but very effective. You know, music is
That's
simple.
a lot of tracks. I'm curious, Delphine, in your track, in your song, how many tracks did you have? Because it's a complete different
used and
style.
unused.
I had a lot of tracks too.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Because
has.
I love layering like him actually. Like layering for me creates a unique sound. So
And you layer your voice too.
yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Right.
I have a song with voice too, but where is it? I don't put it. Yeah, I don't have it here, but it's in my folders. I have, I guess this one has vocals. I could show this project. This sounds pretty cool too. But never mind. It's too much time. Too much time. But I enjoy, you know, I guess everyone likes to nerd with their stuff. But I have how many tracks? 30 tracks? I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
If you switch to
13,
session
14.
view, you can see the number of
Right.
channels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where?
They're right on the right on the.
Oh,
view
okay,
menu.
34. There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Look, this is a synth that I like. So I showed you the Legend, which is good for growlies, the Serum, which is good for precision, and then there's the stuff like Repro 5, which is good for some characters type stuff. Like, it has really nice vintage. It has a ton of presets and like if you're into the whole vintage sounding kind of stuff.
Here's a question for you. So when
this
you,
is a Prophet 5 actually. Yes. Question.
yeah, when you have the same instrument, say on two different tracks, do you use one instance of the instrument and route different channels to the instrument, or do you just put another instance of the instrument?
No, I just use the same and then I modify it. So let's see.
So you just drag your instrument onto the track, and then you just use that instance of the instrument.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I duplicate, but then I modify. So like I have certain tracks where I do like, so okay, we have this bass here, but then I duplicate the bass, and then on this instance, I will, for example, remove all the bass, just keep that stuff. And then I'm gonna put like an overdrive from like the default effects of Ableton and like put that here and then listen to it and find a place that I like that, for example. And it doesn't do much, but you know, you just make your layers and then you try and see if it did anything to the layer. And if it sounds more full, then it's win-win. Like, see how it sounds without, and then you add it. And it's like, it adds a little bit of spice in there. So you decide to keep this second iteration as well, and maybe also alter the timing of it so it starts like a few milliseconds after, you know, and then you got something more unique. Anyways,
Cool.
That's that.
Thanks so much for sharing. That's really nice.
It's I'm not
Yeah,
the
thank
best
you.
demonstrator. What I'm good at is staying for hours, finding tones and stuff, and putting them together and making tracks.
Well, thank you again, Boston.
No, it's great. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure.
Well, I think that's a great way to round out the meetup, to be honest. Got some few minutes to spare, so just want to open it up to everyone in case there's anything you want to raise or talk about. Just so I'll definitely be looking to upgrade the computer. It took me a long time. I apologize to figure this out, but it's extremely clear to me now that the resource contention. I think the Zoom sharing too is also eating up a lot of resources, so it's making the other part of it even worse. So, but I do appreciate the high quality. I mean, every meetup, I feel like the bar keeps going up, and I feel like the momentum is there. A lot of inspiration. I know over the years, people tell me oftentimes that right after the meetup ends, they're like running to their DAW and they got a whole bunch of ideas and they just and you hear other people what they're able to do and it's like whoa, it's like kind of gives you maybe an idea about how to do something yourself. So um, I know there's a bunch of links that we've been sharing here in the Zoom chat, but there's we do have a Discord server. I actually am starting a new Discord server as well, so I will send links to everyone here through email, I guess maybe, and you can always join and continue. I guess I could put it in this chat too now, actually.
You can also save a copy of the chat if you want. Just under where you put the stuff, there's little three dots.
Oh yeah.
And then you click on that, it says save chat, and then you'll have a copy locally with all the links and everything.
Hey, thanks for that tip. I didn't know that.
That's very useful. Thank you. Save chat. Cool.
It's
Yeah.
very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. To the way I presented that was not good, but yeah.
I think people are their own worst critics. I didn't personally get that at all, man. I'm incredibly impressed actually. Like looking at your DAW, I feel ashamed because if I showed you mine, if I get beyond 12 tracks, that's like.
Eh,
But everyone's different, and like I say, I you have a good voice too, Vosto, so just listening to you talk, it's like it's soothing, it's like
really. Ah, well,
No, I don't think it was
so
embarrassing, dude. I
it's all
think
about the bass.
yes, yes. And you were talking about like how
Basement.
how you were like sculpting and modifying EQing and whatnot, and in some cases you leave more room than perhaps
I'm
in
not so
others.
good with the synthesis itself. I feel that I know enough, but I always find something better in the presets than what I'm able to do myself.
Yeah, hear you there.
And then I layer the presets and modify them to work in the concept that I have, I think that's a good way. Presets have their role too, they spare you a lot of time. Like imagine to make your perfect synth, you might spend like half a day, but then you find something that's made by someone else and it helps you with the creativity, and then you layer that, and as long as it helps you to make the sound that is in your imagination.
There's always a purity spiral. You know what I mean? You can always be like, did you make your own synthesizer? Did you, oh, you're cheating. You bought it. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Or did you invent the musical scale and theory that you're applying? You know what I mean? Like if you really go so far, did you cut down the tree to make the lumber to then make the box for your synthesizer? You know what I mean? So using a preset, I know I'm going a little bit exaggerated here, but I mean, there's more, using it well like you do. I mean, it's an amazing thing, and it makes me feel less guilty about using presets.
No, everyone is using. Apart from if you are a real scientist, something like Noisia or Current Value, I think, but maybe even they use. Who knows?
I can, yeah.
But their chains are more complex than our chains. Like, you look at my chain and maybe think it's something special, but it's very basic. I've seen other master classes with like these top guys, and they have some crazy chains, dude, and they are very specific too, to get that super specific, unique sound. And you have to be a nerd at a different level, for that. I mean, we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
I'm
no, for
not
sure.
I'm not that kind of nerd, but it's enough nerd, for me. Like I'm comfortable with the results that I get,
Honestly, some people get energized by composing, getting their flow, or some of them you get energized by sound design. Like some people just make presets, or just design sounds. It's like we all have our own kind of niche, I think.
I
And
was
that,
at another meetup where the guy actually took it even further. He was like, maybe you're not good at drums. Why not get a drummer, right? Like that was a radical idea for me because usually we're so used to just being a single producer doing everything. But it's like knowing what your strengths are
Yeah.
and knowing that, hey, someone else can do it better. And I guess if you're at a higher level in terms of like, I don't know, like you have a major label or whatever, like it's a different team effort, I suppose. But
I would like to also add another advice here, like when it comes to layering that maybe I didn't explain well. Like a lot of times I think in terms of, maybe it sounds basic what I say, but I'm saying it anyway. So in terms of beginning of sound, middle of sound, and end of sound. And if like you have a cool texture, okay, but does it begin good in your mix? Does it have a snap or something? Is there a transient there that, if there isn't, you can add it with a different synthesizer, a different preset, or make it yourself, and you add that to the sound. And then you add the end of the sound with a different layer if you want, like that's the cool thing about layering. Or if you have a pad that's not strong enough, you have your pad, you isolate the frequencies, and then on the middle frequencies, or on the highs, you add more distortion and to add more harmonic information to the sound, and then it becomes a bigger sound in your speakers all of a sudden, and like wow, and then add some interesting reverbs and delays, and there you go. But I'm sure you guys know this shit, man, because like what I've heard, you make good music.
I mean, the amount of talent that has come through is just hard to say without sounding like I'm exaggerating, but it's just incredible how many talented people there are out there. So, but there's always something more you can learn, right? That's, and
Yeah, I want to learn more about vocal layers, and maybe Delphine can show us that if she wants.
Like no?
If you want, but I don't know. Let's ask Spy Audio. He's the moderator.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't mean to put you on the spot,
I
but
I would like to see it if
we
you want
we
to
we are.
show.
I'm perfectly okay with it. It's just that if you're not
Okay.
prepared or but Zoom is pretty easy. You just share your screen and
All right. I'm just not sure that my computer is going to be able with the
Yeah.
CPU, but I'm going to try, okay? Actually, I have two different projects. I have one with the voices and another one with the whole track because I don't have such a good computer. But I can show you both if you want to. Just give me a second.
And to share sound, is there like a trick you have to, when you do share a screen, there's also an option to share sound, I believe.
So it's like share audio maybe.
Vostel, do you remember what the setting was, man? I don't.
What setting?
Sound?
It's when you share your screen, you serve the application, and there's also a box that says share sound under.
Okay.
So you'll see it.
Oh, shit. Wait.
Did you tick the share sound?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Let me.
because it's right under all the sharing boxes. There's the share sound tick.
Yeah, you might have to stop the share and restart it.
Okay.
Share it together, I think.
Share the sound.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this is a really small project. Like this is the instruments. These are some of the voices, and these are the voices I made at the end that you heard, which are this one. Wait.
It's gonna be some nice ASMR, guys. You need to thank me for this.
Did you do something
What?
on the DAW? Like share
No.
the sound? No?
No,
Because
no.
right now it's off
Just
for
share
me.
sound.
Okay. Let me try this.
I think you got to set your sound card, Delphine. At least
Did you
that's
tick
what I thought.
share sound or no?
Friends.
Yeah, I put this, but my DAW doesn't have sound right now.
Oh,
Check your sound output in Ableton.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Just give me a second. Okay, great. Now it should work. So these are the voices at the end.
Oh yeah. That's good.
And as you can hear, my voice is not good at all. Like
Yeah, we can't really hear it well.
you can't hear?
No.
How come?
I can hear it, but it's low. I don't know if it's the mic or.
Sorry, maybe. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to share it with Zoom. So these are the voices that you heard at the end. And actually, these are just like small sounds of me. Like this. And I've put a frequency shifter and warm up and some reverberation and delay. And I'm going to show you the other projects where there's everything. Give me a second.
you are good with pitch when it comes to singing to get those straight notes, or are you using a pitch corrector for that?
Oh, so I'm able to sing correctly, like on a good pitch. It's just that I don't have the strings of a singer. Like right now, I'm doing some courses on YouTube where you have to warm up your voice to get more strength, but I'm not good. Like it's still not good, but my voice has good. Like I have a good ear. And I'm really sorry for my English, by the way.
That's fine.
No apologies needed. I appreciate, you know.
You speak much better than I did, so.
Thank you very much. Okay, so my project is open. Let's hope it's gonna work. Okay. So these are some sample of my voice that I did, which are really small. but it works well. And you heard this in the music, it was like this. Like there's just a small something like this. Sorry. Then this one. Yeah, just layering. And on it, there is an EQ. I shut at the low frequencies. I put a ping pong delay and some saturation too, and a compressor that I put on the kick, so there's no problems between the sounds, and of course reverberation. Then the voices that you heard at the end, actually, I'm not able to keep the voice long enough. So what I did is that I took one of the sounds of my voice here, and then I put it back here. So there's a delay left and right. And that's it, actually.
Oh, that's cool, choir.
So yeah, it's like the voices that you saw on the last DAW, I exported it, and then I just did like a core, like you can see. And this is my project. So there is the sub bass here. What I like to do is shift right and shift left the sounds and make a small difference, like this one is more righted than this one. So it creates like left and right sound, and it gets bigger. And yeah, this is my sub. There's a delay on it too. And I really like to play with the auto shifter all the time for everything. These are my pads. Oh, well, before, this sound is the simplest sound I've ever made, actually. It's just with an operator. Like for those ones who are on Ableton, it's a small thing to create a sound, and it's really powerful if you know how to use it, which I don't. Actually, I saw a video, and this is the sound, which is like...
Living on video.
Sorry?
Living on video. You
I
don't
can
know? It's a song by Trans X from the 80s, and you have the same vocal timbre to her, and that's the song. It's called Living on Video, and you said video just like her, and I just completed it. I was like, you should say living on video.
Living on video. Okay.
There you go. That sounds exactly the same. Okay, sorry.
No worries. Then there are my pads. I love using violins. I don't know if you have Contact. So it's not on here right now. I decided to register them too, because my DAW is not powerful enough to have Contact and all the rest. And this is the layering I did for the pads. So, wow, my DAW is dying.
It's because you're streaming.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna work. So this is one of my violins that I did on Contact, the second one. And then I have this at the end. Shit. No! I'm sorry, my computer is not strong enough. But you see the deal. It's like the layering of the sounds.
Visually, you can see. Did you do you use a MIDI controller, by the way, or do you like draw in with the mouse all the notes in the piano?
I join with the mouse mostly.
Oh, okay.
Also with the controls sometimes, but I like to be. I just don't really know how to use controls, so I do it by hands. But I know it should be more fun to use the controls.
No, it's more precise when you draw.
Yeah.
I
it's
jam.
more-
I put the notes, and then I adjust with the mouse. Some notes that I think are not strong enough for the melody, I will adjust, but I will always record first, and then adjust and quantize, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then for the kick, I have actually two kicks. I have a small one here, and this one. Sorry, my computer again. But it gets more warmth to the kick, actually. And I really love the transition. So what did change like the last month was using crispy sounds to make the music more interesting. So I have a lot of transitions everywhere, like this one, this one. This one too. Wow. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you my projects because my computer is dying right now. It's at like 110. But yeah, that's it. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Even with the bad sound quality, it's still useful to be honest with you because we can visually see. But
Yeah,
really
no, for sure.
appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Very helpful, Delphine. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
How do you separate the bass, the sub, and the kick, which they all live in the same frequency. So how did you do anything to separate them at all?
Side chaining mostly. I side chain on the bass, and I make sure that I EQ is also differently the bass and the kick, so they don't go on the same frequencies, and that's it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But it's not an aggressive sidechain, or is it? I mean, like the threshold is kind of in the middle, and is the sidechain to everything else to the bass, or just some of the like?
So I sidechain on the attack, so we make sure that we hear the kick, but no, the sidechain is not that much, though.
Okay.
Yeah, on some instruments I put more sidechain, like for example pads. I want them to wave around. On a lead synthesizer, I may not put that much because I want to hear a bit of the attack of the lead, and it depends case by case.
So to sidechain, you just put a compressor on say the bass, and you sidechain to the kick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you can also sidechain to other stuff if you want.
Yeah, like you could have a mid-range sidechain, a low-end sidechain,
Or like
all kinds of variation. But
to give priority to a different instrument, have it interact with another instrument. Like
I've
Yeah.
used
Nerds.
volume ducking and kind of masking to do similar techniques. Particularly in isotope neutron, you can have one track mask another, and they cut each other's frequencies over volume or both. And that can often give you similar effects to sidechain compression.
I'll give that a try. Neutron. Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah, well, there's many plugins that do it. It's just the one that I got last Black Friday, but yeah.
I just use the glue compressor from Ableton.
That
stock plugin, my friend.
I still use that too because it's so
but
easy.
Also Pro C from a Fab Filter is really good too. Sometimes I just put things on the fly, like, okay, I need that, because to not disturb the flow of creation, you just drag stuff quickly. Very good.
Okay. Well, you know what? Thank you again, everyone. It's a really great session tonight. Thank you, especially to you, Vosto and Delphine, for sharing, but for all of you. And I think we'll call it a session. But like I say, keep in touch. We'll hopefully see each other at the next meetup. Uh, I know there's vacations and whatnot, so if not in the new year, but we'll definitely have another meetup in December. And yeah, we'll hopefully get some creativity and inspiration. And I know I'm inspired to make some more tunes, so thank you all.
Yeah, thanks to you, Lenny, for putting it all together and doing all the tech work behind the scenes.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience. It's a work in progress, but yeah, I'm happy to do it. I really enjoy these sessions, you know what I mean? So I'm more than happy to do it. So, and it wouldn't be good without all of you guys with like I say, we attract, I think, producers that are quality, and then it kind of snowballs. So we end up having like, you know, so many quality people in one spot that it helps. But thanks again. I'll just leave it at that, and take care. We'll see each other again soon, hopefully.
Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.